It's nice to have you here once again. Hopefully, not for the last time on this call.
Sure, for sure.
So, yeah, it has been an outright pleasure, since the beginning because
Yes,
it's like we were together since the beginning.
yes.
So, yeah, it's
Thank you
nice
so
to
much.
have you.
I like that. To memorize the same thing that okay, I started that day, how it went, how was the reaction after getting it. So yeah, it feeds me the same day as when I'm starting again or I'm doing or I'm leaving that phase again. So it makes me happy.
So, when you say starting your phase, like about your day, so are you talking about the day of your exam or are you starting in the first day when you started last year?
I'm talking about both of them because when I started, it was something as in I don't want to do it just because. So the backstory was when I was in Brampton and I was moving here in Calgary. So what happened was one of my friends suggested that you should go for French because it is easier for you to get the PR sooner. So at that time, my word was I don't want to do it just because I know it is very hard for the people and I don't want to waste my time. I wasted my college life, didn't enjoy anything. So now it's time for me to enjoy in my work permit. Okay. So, so I was like, I'm not gonna do it at any cost. Then suddenly, at September 2024, things were get aligned into the French. I started French. So, first month I was like, I literally don't want to do it. If the things will be wrong, I would be okay. But then when you started taking classes, when I got bit of interest in the grammar or something, so that was the happy moment that okay, now I'm loving the language. And the second thing what I'm telling about is the day of the exam because my heartbeats were very fast in the Uber. I was scrolling the reels, trying to making distraction of my mind, like seeing the meme sending to my friend. And then my friend called me like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Yes, I'm just going to the exam center." So I went there hour early.
As you
So
should.
what happened was I was sitting just besides to the door on the mat, and I was scrolling my phone. So people were coming by, seeing me. What are you doing? I was like, I'm here having for my test. So I was the first one. It was very like it was kind of very anxious moment till the time they get me into the exam room and we started to having the demo of the TCF, how the exam works. But after getting the first question of listening, I felt okay, this would be nicer. So then my mind changes, and yes, I remember whole day, like time to time. So that's why I'm saying reviving these days are a happy moment for me.
Nice. Seems very dramatic.
It is.
I'm
I
sure it
was,
was.
yeah.
Overall, how was your exam experience? Just about the exam day, I'm asking.
Uh, as I have discussed with you about the exam pattern and the exam center where I give my exam, so I didn't felt like ऐसे वो वाला कि I am odd with the exam procedures or how I'm gonna do it. So it was nicer and smoother. When I went there, they took my passport, whatever the verification was. I got little anxious when they didn't send me the invitation into my email, so I had just a confirmation copy. So that was a bit of trouble, but they were okay with it because I had the confirmation and they had the name over there. So it was fine. But in the speaking, I was last one.
Oh,
So what happened was I entered 10 minutes before my speaking. I was sitting there. and one person came out and he was very anxious about the speaking. So he was like, "Good luck, buddy. It would be a bit of odd and whatever was it." And I was,
तो
as
you
my
were able to talk to each other मतलब एक का
after the
एग्जाम हो.
exam, when he
हाँ.
was coming by, I was sitting at the waiting area,
हम्म.
and he was like, "Are you the next person?" I was like, "Yes," because we were sitting next to each other on the booth in the listening, reading, writing. So he knew me. So he was like, "Buddy, it's gonna be a bit odd and whatever." So he gave his experience, and I was chill just because my listening, reading, and writing was okay. So I was like, "Okay, this is just the one part that I have to clear." So the people mindset were not okay at that time because some of them didn't get it.
हम्म.
So
मतलब बाकी तीनों में
yes,
all yeah okay yeah.
so the situation was kind of keep people are forcing their negativity and something whatever. So I tried to be like alone कि हाँ वही चीजें सही हो जाएगी. So that worked me better for me just because उससे मेरा overall experience अच्छा हुआ कि I didn't get the impact of what other people are thinking because people were talking to each other and I was just sitting by myself scrolling Instagram reels. That's all. So overall, it was nicer and smoother, and the speaking part was for me it was best out of four of them because examiner was so nice. Afterwards, we talked a bit when recording finished, as my usual habit. So
What did you talk about? Was it like
I
normally?
asked her name. I asked, "What are you doing? Like, how from how many years you are here? Do you like this? How you got this?" Then she was like, "You are having a nice speaking skills." I was like, "Thank you." Then she was like, "From when you started?" These were the questions in the speaking as well for the first time, but like as an outside things. So she was like, "I'm happy that you did it because some people cannot get this comfortable when they speak in exam." So before that I was nervous, but I knew that okay, now there is nothing as in go back from here. I can't leave the room and go home, right? So it was a nice conversation after the speaking. So out of four, speaking part which I enjoyed the most was listening, reading, and writing. I had the pressure of finishing one, then going to another, and the main thing was reading because I was always worried about that.
Mm. So how about your speaking? What all were the questions that they asked you?
So basically, they start with the basic introduction, but before that, they didn't turn on the recording or whatever the timer was there. So she introduced herself,
Mm.
then she asked my name, my passport verifications, and everything. Then first question was Saprasumte. So I started to present myself. She she stopped me at the after my family information, and she asked me the questions like. From how many years you are here, why you started to learn the French, then how many months it took you to learn it, what are the best things about your journey. This type of questions were there. So it was okay session. So it stretched till 2 minutes. Then they started to give me. She started to give me the task too. So she gave me the pamphlet, and then I read it. I made the points to ask it. So the question was related to the touristic circuit that my colleague had it, and I have to ask the questions to do the same thing in the summers
Uh, so you had to ask a colleague about.
about the touristic circuit that she
Okay,
did
okay.
in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So the questions were like when you started, how you got it, then what are the things that you did, what are the places you have visited, what are the best experience, what are the worst experience, what are the problems.
Yeah.
So it was still like exact 3:31. She was very happy in the contrasting questions just because it was going very smoothly. Then third was that is it possible to have the growth of economy along with the environment sustainability?
We had done this.
Yes. So I was very happy. She asked me and I was smiling on her face. She was like, no. And then I started it and she was enjoying it. She was like nodding. She was smiling. So I was getting more comfortable to like as I'm continuing my speaking. I used everything that you told, like C clauses, subjunctive, whatever I had the idea was. So it went till 4:32 exact. And she was like, "This is the end of the speaking." And I was like, "Okay." Then she asked me after the speaking, "Have you had this questions?" I was like, "Yes, that's why I was happy." Like, nice. So it was a whole speaking, like 13 minutes in total. I had two timers with me on the right side and left side,
Wow, two timers.
and two recorders.
Hmm. Two recorders, okay.
We
Interesting.
worked for them after
And
evaluating.
only one examiner.
Yes, only one
Mhm.
exam.
Mm. So, wow. And how about writing?
Writing, I was comfortable and I was confident as well that I
Mm-hmm.
would get it. Maybe higher just because all of them were familiar questions, right?
Nice.
Uh, Task one was very easy. It was related to email to the friend about mm, getting job.
New job.
Yes. The
Mm-hmm.
second was I'm having the experience with old age people.
Yeah,
And I
I know
remember
it.
the topic that you told to add into the example, having a personal experience. What are the things that you did there? And the third was having the technology in the online learning languages.
Um,
So three of them were very familiar for me. I had the ideas for everything. So I
See,
was
idea
both,
always have, but matlab,
like in
वैसे
a way that I've seen that.
था, I think that's why you haven't practiced this exact task before.
Yes, but in a way of technology and learning was there.
Exactly. Yes.
Had a bit of ideas to go for it.
Mm.
So the what I got the trouble is in the word you will see what you write. So the length is very high when you write like 150 words or 170 words or whatever the requirement was. You will see that you write this much. But in the tab screen it was this. So I was
Mhm.
more
Because
worried.
it's broad.
Yes. I was like, I'm writing this much. Like this is not the right thing. But when I was
So
seeing the
maybe for the future, test takers, you can ask them to make it in the not the portrait
yes,
mode, like but
in
the
the
like this.
yes,
Okay,
in the notebook
interesting.
so they can be more familiar with what is
Yeah.
going. So my thing was I finished the words in task one, but in task two, when I was writing it, as usual, I was getting over in task two for sure. So I reached 170 plus.
Task two.
Yes, but it was there. No, not 170 plus. In task three, it was yes. Task two was one close to 146. I got it, and I had one line to write it down. So I
Mm-hmm.
curtailed, I erased everything what I was erased everything meaning the last line of the paragraph which was too long. So I shortened
Mm-hmm.
it down using gerundive and other grammar part and made it very short. So I will have three line of conclusion because it was two lines for fitting there and one
Okay,
line
okay.
which was important to conclude it
The
was
one line you had to cut short
yes.
for task
So
two.
I would say that before plan, just write it down what you're gonna write for conclusion because I wrote that's a small thing as an
Mm-hmm.
this gonna be my conclusion, but the ideas were flowing much better. So when I proofread it, I was like, oh, this is grammatically okay. Then I
Hmm.
moved to third one. and I had around 28 minutes to write it. S-
A little
So,
better than what we planned, but
yes,
okay.
but I finished before 1 minute left.
Mhm.
27 minutes I wrote it. Now, the thing was, I was proofreading task 3 as well. Like, if I'm writing task, the introduction of the task, I was doing the proofreading side by side because I knew time gonna be short in this
Mm.
piece. It's 28 minutes. It should be 20. It should be 30 minutes to get a 2 minutes of proofreading. So I was 100% sure that I'm not gonna get that the proofreading done of this task after finishing it. So I was doing the proofreading side by side because I made the plan what I'm gonna write every single thing on the paper, and I was writing introduction, then I was checking it, then first paragraph, then conclusion. So it was okay in that manner, but I was more worried about being more impactful on task 3 as I was doing in other things as well, like in practice as well. So when I finished my task 3, I went to task 1, rechecked, task 2, rechecked, and task 3, just I checked the introduction and conclusion. So it was 1.5 minute timer was left. And then I
Oh,
was just making sure that I would. And then I got one mistake in task 1 in that period, so I just corrected it. So it was that.
interesting. Very nice. I wanted to ask you about the. So we know that you were nervous initially,
Yes.
but how about the exam center?
So whatever they were very supportive, to be very honest. When I went there, most of them were like, okay, these are the things, these things you can feel it, but we are there for you. The main thing which is odd for a person is if you are nervous on the exam day, whatever they're gonna speak in front of you in French, you will have a bit of not having a complete understanding of what they are
Yeah.
saying just because you are in your zone to getting the thoughts of your exam. So that can be disappointing when you do not understand after like this much of prep for a bit of time because most of the conversation were going into the French,
Um,
like instruction and everything. She was repeating, like, "Do you understand?" Then if we say yes, then she was not repeating in English. But if like the response is not enough, so she will start to repeat in English. But most of them were okay with it, so she was like, "Okay." And so that was the one thing can like I can say that I got bit of distracted, but it was fine. And in the exam as well, when you get entered into the booth, they know that you are not familiar with the TCF test format in computer, and you are doing in your first time. So
mm.
they will give you like headphones. They will check it. They will even ask before the exam that do you want to keep the same keyboard or you want to change it on the exam day as well. So it was nice. So they were showing the keyboards there, which one you like it, which one you don't like it. AZ1 and the quads and whatever,
Oh,
QW.
so they had
Yes.
options for that as well.
Yes. So they were very supportive in that manner. And they will be like, if you want to go for a drink, like water during the exam, you can go, but you should, in the listening, you're gonna be not there. In the reading and writing, you can go. So
But
they
then
were,
they would pause the timer also for
no,
you.
no, nothing.
Okay.
The timer would be on you. If you want to go it, we will not gonna force you to sit. You can go,
Mm.
but it's up to you. That's all.
Okay.
So even in the meantime, when you were like when you finish your listening, reading, writing, and you have a pause in between your first session and your speaking session, if you have any questions, they were okay as well. If you wanna sit there, if you wanna have a coffee, whatever, they were very fine with it. So I felt the experience at the center was very much friendly with their instructors.
Very nice. अच्छी बात है. Okay. So when I know you were initially aiming for TEF, and so after I motivated you to switch for TCF, you opted for TCF. But other than that, what were your decision points and all for TEF, TCF? Yeah.
So as you know that I changed my mind after the V2, right? At the last few days of my whole test prep, which I would not recommend for a person who is doing from the
But
first.
you एकदम last test prep में थोड़ी just at the end of your B2 you changed
Yeah,
your
like in term of we say the whatever the
हाँ
course was
पूरा
be
एक second.
right after like 10, 11, like not 10, 9 to 10 months, I changed my decision. Although I was practicing the same format in my writing, so it was bit of odd, and it is not recommended as well as you said in the class that you should make the mind before you are doing it. Like at least at B1, you should know which test you're gonna be. So my decision points, even I discussed with you, the listening was the trouble in prep my future. In test, I was not getting it. I was getting 24, 25. I didn't check reading at all because obviously if the listening is problem, reading would be more trouble. Also. So I was very comfortable with writing in the TEF. There were only two tasks and it was very much I had structure and everything. So the my decision points were having good score in listening and having at the level of 7 into the reading part. And speaking as we were doing it, it was more or less same, right? The speaking was not in a like as in कि मेरे को speaking की वजह से change करना है. It was mainly due to the less marks in listening and reading. So that's why I changed it. But the initial time in the adaptation for writing format, getting fit into the word limit was a bit of challenge because you are being bit of friendly or informal in first two tasks and then a last formal one which is not same into the test, right? Because it is more structured and more formal. So in the writing part it was easy, but in the listening part I felt TCF as an much more preferred choice from me. So that's why I changed it just because of only one thing. But it
For
made me,
listening.
yes, because I was not getting the marks. Like 24, 25 was the max that I get in my TEF during the prep my futures. But when I gave my TCF, when I discussed with you and he was like, give one, two tests. If you feel okay, then go for it. So at that time, I first time got 29 to 30, and I was very happy that okay, I can excel in it more.
Yeah, so when sometimes people say that, TCF, the questions is a part of an audio, so it seems difficult, but it's really not that difficult, we can say.
Yes. But if you do not understand the audio, it is harder for you to understand the question because whatever the things would be there, it would be the same as in. And what I felt is in the audios of listening, it is the same person who gonna talk exam like the question as well. So if you do not understand the accent of whatever the speaker says, it is harder for you to get into the understanding of question. But
Mm.
at the like, after practicing 1.5 month or 2 months in the specific TCF, you can get familiar for it.
Yeah. So how long did you prepare for it? Can you talk about your whole journey right from the start?
Ah,
In detail, as if full we have time.
okay, okay.
I was there for all of it. I want to hear it. Not just for the videos. It's
For
fun.
sure, for sure. It is long, like dramatic as well, just because
Be dramatic.
Yes. So I started at 23rd in Indian time, like in my 22 September 2024. So like after just getting my job and the first month over and I get adjusted to the new environment, I got into the French. So few like the event was bit hectic for like not in a bit like it was more hectic in term of getting into the grammar, getting into the phonetics, even pronouncing the simple words. We were doing the speaking practice into the class of reading loud the pronunciation book. So if you remember, I was the last one to say it because I was like feared about the pronunciation, like the pronunciation that I'm gonna do in the class. It was not proper at all. So
Mm.
that part
I
demotivated
remember that.
me, right? That part demotivated me a lot because I was confident that I'm gonna speak it, but when it comes to reading into the class, all the people were getting like nicer things or whatever was it. So the performance pressure into the class was bit higher for me that I have to at least do average. As people were being, even if you remember, the classmates were getting good into the writing. They were having a sense of audios were getting played into the Cosmopolitan and they were replying it and I was just being like, I didn't understand. So it was a bit demotivating in the A1, but I was learning grammar, so my writing was okay from the beginning. Was as I shared with you as well. The main focus was for me in the A1 A2 was getting the grammar all of it, which helped me in my B1 B2 to remember the conjugations. And I was not having that much trouble that a person can have when you are not prepared with the verb things and the recognition of tense and everything because rather than speaking more I have spent more time in my writing and grammar.
In A1 or general?
A1 A2 both because I remembered you told at the last day of A2 that in B1 we're gonna start to speak in French, and I told you like this is gonna be bit of more change. And that's why I took a 1 week of vacation from you that I need it. So yes, A1 A2 was full of hustle, like more hustle because you were grabbing everything. As in, you are grabbing phonetics, you are grabbing the accents, grammar, and
A1 A2 में तो बहुत डांट खाई है.
बहुत ज़्यादा. The change, like the sudden steep in my journey that I can point out is the B1. From there, the things started to change because I was getting more comfortable with French. Because the main thing was your initiative to speak in French during the class, which made me more comfortable speaking whatever I want to say. So that from 1 minute able to not speak, I was speaking 7 8 minutes continuously. Right?
I remember at the end of A2, B2, you would be able to speak 10 minutes monologue and
Yeah, yeah.
continuous and crazy. मतलब मैं बोर हो जाती थी.
That's the thing. And that is the biggest fear that I had it in A1 A2, which got, I don't know how. I never practiced as an वैसे वाला, if you remember. I never practiced as an recording वाला कि I'm gonna record myself and then like see what I made the mistake because I was getting anxious when the timer is on
Mm.
or when I'm recording myself. So I had most of the practice with either you or with other classmates, like one to one. Like that's how I practiced the speaking. But it was after like continuous practicing was after B2. Till B2, I was like focusing more on other things. But I don't know how. I was listening more. That's why I got speaking. But I was not reading as I told you 1,000 times. For me, reading was boring part. But I was. mostly watching movies, listening podcasts. So that made me maybe more okay with the speaking part.
More comfortable.
Yes. But yeah, I remembered like from not speaking as in enough things in the A1, A2, even in B1, I was not understanding the audios, if you remember. And direct in exam prep, when you told everybody speak whatever you want to say till like no time limit, and I was like 8 minutes, 7:58, and they was like, okay, now I made the progress. From speaking 1 minute to like 8 minutes was nicer.
And
And for
also,
other parts, yes, it was more kind of handling day-to-day life was very frustrating for me, just because as I'm working in field, it would be like 8-10 hours a day on field. Then you are coming back, you are doing your daily chores, and then you are starting your French after like whole day of working. You are tired, you are not understanding the even a little thing in French when you are starting, like in A1, A2. Like mostly in A1. A2 you get bit of idea what is going on, and you know the some words, so you will be like, okay, I just understood this, or I just missed this part, or whatever, right? So A1 was like in term of me as in demotivating things, but as grammar was getting me keeping on track for my writing, I was okay that I can do it. I can push it more, and of course you were there to help. So it was okay with hurdles in the race of even, but we figured out, and yeah, it was after A2 I was more confident that I can get it, but the uncertainty was always there before even exam. So the main part for me was giving every day to
mm,
friends.
yeah. And also, when you said that, everyone was getting better and you were struggling with pronunciation and listening. So, also, there would like to point out that during that time, I kept on saying not to compare with others and focus
Yes.
on your own progress.
But like whatever you say, you feel bit of uncomfortable
I
factor
get
when
it,
you
yeah.
are in the class because
Because it's a group, huh?
everybody
When we
started.
see each other, yeah, exactly.
Everybody started at the same pace. Somebody speaking very early, somebody speaking like exceptionally. In term of, for an example, in our class there was one person who was very better in pronunciation than others. One was very good in the reading, whatever was it, right? So you will feel like all started at the same pace. Maybe everybody's employed, everybody's doing their daily thing and everything. So why I'm not getting close to them? So that was the only thing, not as in like I would be not, I'm bad or something, as I do not deserve to study in French. What, like that was not as an comparison wala, like in, you can get a bit of stress by seeing people that they are growing more than you in term of when you are in A1, A2, because it is a basic beginner phase for you to learn. So maybe.
Yeah, but why? It's better to focus on your
Yeah,
preparation.
for sure. But then you get
Because
the sense of like after B2 that okay, I can do it. Till B2, you are like
well,
figuring out cosmopolitan audios and how to speak. Writing,
that's the
everybody
thing.
can write
In
after
the
B2.
zone, when I keep saying to not compare with others, in the zone, you're not able to understand that. But if you see back now, then you
Yeah,
know that.
for sure. Like after finishing it, when we say do not compare, that make more sense than in the moment that okay, why I'm not doing it. And it is kind of an human nature. What I feel is that you can
Yeah,
get very anxious when people are doing the nicer thing who started with you and you are just below average. So it feels as in pressure, but to use that pressure into the positive thing, it is a bit of challenged part which I get.
of course. But that's where it helps. Yeah. Okay. Moving on. So, um I wanted to know, you like in less than a year you have been able to clear the TCF and with the required scores, more than that also. So looking back, do you feel that it was very like were there any many ups and downs, and was it an easy journey, or was it there were a lot of struggles?
I would not say it is as an easy journey, to be very honest, because as I told you, that having a part of French in your daily journey, it is not easy to get into. Like working, studying, managing the things. I was also doing gymming and everything. So it was bit of, I was being busy like 19 hours a day, 5 6 hours to sleep only. That was the bare minimum time that I had it for me, which was sleeping. That's all. So hardest part in like in term of journey was very nice. Like if I go back to 2024 and like see myself, I would be like, okay, it is worth it, whatever I did. But the hustle that I found was after working weekdays, you are waking up in the weekends like, okay, I don't have to go work, and then you suddenly remember, okay, I have French to
Mhm.
finish it out, and you are spending majority of time of your weekends, which people feels a bit of like people feel as an weekend would be a bit of chiller or whatever. But in my schedule, it was very hectic because I was not even able to practice in the weekdays as 8 10 hours of work, 1 hour of class, 1 hour of before class practice, reading the templates and understanding it and writing the vocabs and all of it, and then 2 hours are there. Then I had my gymming, so it was like stretching me till 12 o'clock. So some days I was able to do it in the weekdays practice, but it was like 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day.
Mhm.
So investing more time till the end of the journey was the biggest part for me. And in terms of the setbacks, the major setback that I got was in the transition from A2 to B1. Was till the time I was the only one person into the class, which made me a bit of worried because in the class time when people are there, you will have a bit of time to think because when other people are saying. Now, when you are alone, it's only up to you to understand the audio, to answer the questions, to even answer the reading part. So you feel a bit of overwhelmed. And the major upset, what I say in term of all of the four tasks, first of them was listening, because cosmopolitan audio was not for me. Like I
Yeah.
was some days I was getting like straight in in one listening. Sometime it was stretching till 3. So it was a bit of upset because when you are going from A1 to A2 to B1 to B2, you feel like I can understand this. If I go back to A2 book, I can understand everything now as I am in the B1 or B2. So that part was making sure that you are going up to the exam prep. Like after B1, you are already at third phase. So that pressure was constantly there. As in, I have to understand the audio till B2 anyhow, because then after the exam prep gonna start. So listening made me more into worry and the speaking, because as my pronunciation was not good, I was not able to speak. And when you do not speak, it's obviously you can't be fluent. Like as you started to told us to speak in the class, that helped a lot to get get rid of the anxiety of speaking in between like 10 people, 15 people, or in front of different teacher as well. So that was the best thing. So even in term of the setbacks that I got was also in my B1 and the rise. in my confidence was also in B1, but it was in the starting and the ending of it. Middle was all of like mixed things. One day I am being okay, one day I am not. And then B2 was bit of easier in term of understanding the language overall. But still, the major issue was the complexity of language now, which was introduced in B2. That okay, language can be this tougher as well, which was not in B1.
Yeah.
So the consumption and taking down the notes in the vocabs were bit of challenging and get remember those things when you are reading the cosmopolitan task that we have it every day. So that was the challenge, but it was not that much because if I remember that I was struggling this part, now I'm not doing into B2 and I'm okay with them, and having just the one more thing which is just to learn the vocabs, which would be easier now, but it is not that difficult as you can't speak or you can't listen or you do not understand. Now those things were happening.
Mm.
So it was more of as an okay, ho jayega. And then the help from you, help from the the feedbacks that we were getting in our end of the exams from A2, B1, and B2, like all the level exams that we had it, and we had different instructors. So that was also as an test that other person is understanding us or not. It was bit of nicer that okay, if person is understanding, meaning we are pronouncing the word right? Because being with one instructor, it feels like they know what you're gonna say or what you are trying to say. So yes, it was in terms of overall was nicer with the hurdles, but not easy for sure. So investing more time was the key. That I have to do it. I have to continue. No rest days, as in rest days. On the rest days, I was listening podcast. I was seeing the movies.
And what I find commendable is your dedication, because as you said previously, you thought that you want to learn French because you want
Yeah.
to enjoy.
Yes.
But then I see your dedication. I saw it from like the first week of A1, because you were at it at your homeworks from the beginning,
Yes.
and that is very commendable, I would say.
So the
So
majority of
hats
part
off.
was the investing every day. That was the trouble because you are not okay every day. You are not
Exactly.
in motivation every day. It is that all. It is just the obligation that you have to do it. That's the end of the day thing. And after A2, I don't know why. And even I told you as well, if I don't practice, I would have regrets.
Yeah.
Like I
Yes,
didn't
you told
practice,
me.
I didn't practice. So for me, it was very hard to leave the practice as well. I
Mm.
can't be away one day, like directly, indirectly, whatever the case was.
Yeah,
So
I
it
get that.
became
When I was learning, it was the same for me.
it was an habit, and now I'm feeling void. That what I'm doing a day, nothing, just 2 3 hours of the English prep things, and that's all.
So now is the time to enjoy, which you wanted to do last year.
No, but you can't.
अब आदत ही नहीं है enjoy.
Abhi, like the thing is, you started your work permit and you suddenly get into this. Till here, you are busy, very busy, and then suddenly you get like the time, like you are free whole weekend. What are you gonna do,
Go
right?
out.
So now I feel it is void as in I can't fill it because till the time I was not having a sense of day that okay, I started at 12 and I finished at 6. Okay, 6 o'clock. I have to make my dinner, I have my classes, I have speaking with the classmates. So it was full of planning and now I'm free. Not as in free, just one task is finished, but you have now, okay, I made it. So that every day that happiness is there.
I know. I felt a similar void when I finished the batch. But now I have other things. Okay, moving on.
Yes.
What study methods and resources did you find most effective?
So do I need to say for like each task?
No, overall, you can say. So
Okay.
you can mention all the resources, materials that you used, and which was good for
Okay.
you.
So in term of grammar, whatever was on the classroom was in my computer, already saved. I went through everything what I had it. I had my homeworks done, which was the major part to had have a base on the A1, A2. So the resources which we have it in classrooms are very useful for a person who is starting very new. Then after, in term of in between the things, Cosmopolit was the game changer in terms of understanding the language and being familiar to what the complexity can be at the different levels. So the classroom materials, the Cosmopolit, and in the TCF prep or before the TEF prep that I had it was Prep My Future, but I was not using as much as I was using the TCF formation that you told us to have the subscription, or even in the YouTube, I found some of the nicer things, as in for a person who is starting A1, A2, easy French, as in understanding the things. Other than that, the TCF practice paper that you get in some YouTube channels that you can directly search up. So for exam prep, some of the practice tests on YouTube before you buy the TCF formation. Then the TCF formation was the major one in the exam prep, and the beginner was obviously the classroom materials. And the grammar book that you suggest was Practice Makes Perfect.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yes, that was the nicer in term to understand everything that you want to learn in term of grammar. So very basic things, but more effective in term of understanding the language from zero to at least B2.
Hmm. Okay. Interesting. Can you tell me a little more about Prep My Future? You didn't use it much.
I didn't use it, but I was afraid in term of getting the results wrong, which is not the ideal thing for a person who wants to appear for TAF or TCF, whatever. Because if you will not gonna be familiar with the format, you will have more hard time to understand the things. So I never practiced enough on Prep My Future. I was using Prep My Future as a tool of learning grammar as well.
Mm. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Grammar is good on Prep My
Yes.
Future.
So I don't know, but my focus was to 100% understand the grammar. I don't know why. I was not at that time worrying about listening or whatever the part was. But the Prep My Future helped me a lot to understand the grammar, but I never used as in practice. I was finishing up the task as for grammar, like articles or indirect speech, direct speech, passive voice, subjunctive sometime. So I used as in grammar reference, not as in practice reference. But I was not even sure about my prep, so I was like, okay, it is not for me. So people used it, but I didn't maybe. So maybe that was a different scenario for myself. So it was just
Hmm.
a grammar based practice in the Prep My Future.
Okay. Okay. Did you lean more towards self study, group study, or just your sessions?
I know people will see this, but I have to say,
Yeah, I
group
know what you
study
did. So
is
that's why I'm asking because people
group
will.
study is not for me, to be very honest. As I'm talkative person, I can get into the conversation very easily and I can spend hour or 2 hours. So group study makes me distract from what I have intended for that particular session. So my plan was, if I'm doing study, I will have my plans ready before I study. So on this Fridays, what I was used to do is, before sleeping, I was typing in my WhatsApp that these are the things, or in the notes, I have to finish in my weekends. So if I'm having my group sessions with the other classmates, the intention would be finish this, and whatever the conversation would be, I can talk afterwards. But it was never the case. So I avoided completely, like not completely, but majority of times do not study in group. My focus was to study by myself. Even if I would have problems, I'm gonna even I was messaging you either, or some of the people who were very good in their things, that what they know in the class. So self study was the biggest thing that I had it in my thing. And speaking, obviously, you need a person to speak. So that was the only session that I was getting engaged with other people. But it was not as in like 10 people into the one call and doing the study and speaking it. It was just me and one person would be there.
So any specific sites or channels?
Okay. I don't know we can say or not, but I was more using blog channels, random blog channels,
Hmm.
to just listen. And those are, one of is Piece of French, Easy French, Inner French, people know as in podcast. And there is one person who is very informative, which is Guleman. I don't know the name of that person. Hugo.
Geo?
Hugo.
Okay.
That guy is producing like 30 minutes of video minimum in French for different topics. For an example, history. He will choose a one person
Oh
and
yeah,
speak
I know him.
whole history of it. It is so like a person who is more keen to get to know this history or everything. It is very nice YouTube channel to be engaged for like 30 minutes. So it was so nice. And Netflix, as in movies, that's all. Like, but the random vlogs I was seeing as like, then one person was learn French with that girl name I don't remember, but she was also good in terms of vlogging and podcast. So the YouTube was kind of for me study forced for myself when I am studying alone.
So that was majorly for listening, I'd say.
That's why I practice for. I never looked into the books or newspaper, which I would not recommend. You can see in my results as well. The it is very it is very close to the border, but yeah, a person
Well,
like reading would be there. For me, it was not as an like
hmm.
motivating thing. I was getting very easily sleepy, or I will feel like more bored by reading the even the newspaper things. So I made the plans every time that I'm gonna read the Arte or the newspapers that you suggested, but I never got more interested by them, and I never kept going as I was doing for my listening or other parts. It was not naturally for me to go, okay, this is today I'm gonna do the month reading. Never. It was more keen to, okay, I'm gonna listen to this podcast today. Yeah, I would see this vlog today. So I knew everything about like even from making croissant to selling into the bakeries. I saw all the videos in French, like how the French distribution happened, like what are the arrondissements into the Paris. What are the things which are popular there? The vlogs of each area. So I was like this. So
Nice.
YouTube was, yes, the major part we can say, but reading was not. a game of mine to get excellent.
Okay. Now I want to know more about your study schedule. So I know you were working weekdays. But how much time did you give on the weekdays? You already talked about your weekends. What about weekdays?
So weekdays, I was starting my work early, like 7, 8. So I had to, I was coming back around like 5, 6,
Mm.
most of the time evenings. And then I was making my dinner and everything ready at 6:30, 7. I would be done with it. Now my lectures were here at 8:30. So I had a 1 hour of gap in between my lecture and after my dinner. So I was preparing before the class things, which I have to do, reading the Cosmopolis, making the things up or revise the grammar topic which we had it into the class during A1, A2. And the reading habit was always there, as in you have to read before coming into the class. So that 1 hour was dedicated for it. Then if I'm having very hectic days and I'm tired, I was just attending the lectures, and then I would go gym and sleep. I'm not gonna I will not gonna practice in those days where I'm hectic. But when I'm not and I'm okay, I still have an energy to study a bit more. So at that time, I was doing 1 hour of extra practice where I was revising the things which happened into the class and writing. Or sometime if I'm not having any energy to do it, I was always opening the YouTube and seeing the French things. So that was indirect consumption. But for weekdays, for the weekends, it was the majority of covering part of all the weekdays that I had it. So if I didn't practice like 3 days, I would make sure that I spend at least 3 hours extra than
Hmm.
my planned
Regular.
things.
Okay.
Yes.
Hmm. Interesting. So, did you, while practicing and all, did you have any mock tests?
Mock test, I would say till B2 was not there in my practice because why I'm saying till B2 is the main reason of being more attentive to Cosmopolit and learning from the grammar things. Because as you are doing your reading before the classes, your reading part for that particular level is okay. For listening, you are listening every day, so your listening part would for that, and you are listening into the class as well. So that is okay because it is that particular level thing. So you don't have to have extra practice in my knowledge or in my opinion. But for the mock test become the very integral part when I was prepping for TCF, just because now you don't have any other things to practice. You are just practicing for the exam. So you would try to finish all the four mock test, sorry, or all the four parts in the one sitting. So at that time, the mock tests were the only thing which were okay for myself, like okay meaning as a meaningful practice session of a day. So the mock tests were main part in the prepping, but for levels, I never had like mock tests for each level. It was just before the exam of the, for an example, A2. I was revising grammar. I was seeing the Cosmopolite, Kahiye. That's all. There would be as in my prep of level 2 exam, level 3 exam, level 4. But the mock tests were never been the part of from A1 to B2.
Hmm. I know reading was the most challenging for you in your exam. So, how did you tackle it?
Tackling was not a nice word to use it. It was more or less to bear with it for me. Just because I was afraid to, as you know as well, I discussed you during the end days of my exam that I am more worried about reading because it would made me to appear second time, right? So my only fear was I do not have any intentions to appear second time. So whatever I'm gonna practice would be just for my exam, and afterwards I do not want to even touch reading. Right? That was my scope, and it was not that I was not getting a level, but it was not a constant level. It was dropping every day. It was fluctuating every day. So for other parts, I was at stable. Like I was around of these things. But in the reading, I was more concerned. And before I talked with you, before like 10 days ago, I was doing like 3, 4 readings a day, which was very bad thing for a person to do just because it was a fear of
Yeah.
performing better and not getting enough
That
marks.
was
So,
panic practicing, I would say.
yes.
Yeah. And that's
So I
why I
was
told
exhausting.
stop doing
Yes.
anything.
So tackling was only reduce for tackling. I would say for me it was I reduced the intensity. Then I focused on the quality of the questions that I'm going to answer. It would be not having an intention to complete the test, but to get the answer right. So
Mm.
reducing the intensity and focusing on the answering right rather than finishing it. It was the main strategy for me to tackle it, but it was not as effective because I was not reading every day. It
Mm.
was a problem for me to understand the questions after 26, 27 because the complexity that I was just familiar was it was the cosmopolitan or sometime I would say the transcripts that I'm seeing for audios or majority of part if I'm doing listening through Netflix, it was the subtitle. That was the only amount of reading that I had. Never I watched as a newspaper what's going on or let's today let's finish this as a reading part or this magazine or something. So I would say a person who is studying just try to include the reading part because it would be realization when you will do the mock test in the prep and you will not you will be frustrated after certain numbers of question and then you will realize how to excel. So my was like just I reduced the whatever I was doing and followed the tips that you gave it to me. But other than that, there was nothing as in tackling that I started to read or something. It was the same thing.
No, but you panicked a lot. Like
Yes.
we discussed, like it came to a full circle when you were overdoing it. In A1, when you were overdoing it, and at the end of your prep, also you were overdoing it.
I was making sure the thing should be tied up.
पर लास्ट में टाइड ऑफ नहीं बना, एक छेड़ा रह गया ऊपर जिसमें आपका स्कोर आया.
True. But tackling kabhi nahi hua. It was a fear always
Yeah.
because I knew what
Yes.
was my mistakes and the regret of not making a part of reading in the daily session was much more at that time. So tackling was never as an option. It was just bear with it. Try to focus as much as you can in the reading session, particularly to just maximize, keep yourself calm. That's all. So
Mm.
tackling never happened to me. Never. It was more or less into other parts, but not for reading particularly. I just calmed myself down, just started to understand okay, this is my weakness. I have to do not excel till C1. I have to just get 7.
Yeah.
Do not expect more rather than like what you have it. So
Mm.
just be at the realistic goal. So I think that was as an tackling mentally. but not in term of result things.
Good. So, what advice for the future test takers?
Advice, I would say focus on reading,
Mm.
focus on speaking more, write every day what you feel, speak every day. Things can be worse, very worse in the days where you are demotivated or you are not understanding the language. It was same for me. A1, A2 was full of frustration. I'm not understanding the things. Things are getting hectic. Why I'm doing this? There were so many questions. But for a person who is appearing, just do not get overwhelmed, which I was. A few days before my exam, and that made impact on my writing because writing was my strongest part out of four of them, and I was very confident that I'm gonna get like at least above seven. I'm not saying C1, C2, I don't know, but above seven. The anxiety people get through it, you like the main thing should be you prepped 11 months, 12 months, or whatever the time was. You should have a faith that you will tackle it down. But yes, do reading every day, speak, write as much as you can, listen what you like it, and just have a trust on yourself. That's all the advice that I can give. The basic old age advice.
I remember sometime in A2 or end of A1, I sat
Mhm.
you down one day and asked you to not overdo it.
Yeah, it was after my A2
Uh,
because I was
and I
messing
could
up
see that
in my speaking.
after that, malab, suddenly I saw a change in your
Yeah,
writing specifically.
that's what I
And
was
so, yeah.
saying. B1 was step back as well and the rise as well. So third part, like the level third, was the change in my all the journey. Because
Mm,
that's why I improved my writing. That's why I got better
yeah.
in the speaking as well. So yes, that's true. Do not overdo it. Overdo things also make you more down than what you are expecting.
Yes. So we already talked about one common mistake of overdoing it, but from a perspective of the language, any
Mhm.
mistakes that new learners make, or someone new might make, or for someone who's taking the exam, any common mistakes other than overdoing it?
In terms of common mistake, what I find is people like we have general intentions to get into the TCF or TEF, whatever the choice, finish these things and be happy. But like as I was the person as well, that we always start with the hard things and listening or we have an like curiosity to understand everything, and they pick up the things which are not ideal till the end of the day. For an example, directly starting listening of the movies and everything, like the hard things to listen and hard pressure to speak. So the common mistake I would say it is to uh, to have a pressure of doing everything at once, which I had it, and I know till A2 like it was there to be like till exam, but it was reduced by half, like 50% or more than that. But having a pressure, like personal pressure, that I have to do it, what I have to do it, like constant things. The common mistake is in that manner we are making it more worse than what it is. So in term of language, I would say it is okay for everybody to have less understanding of the passage or the audio, or sometime you are writing bad or you have grammar mistakes. It is a part and you can't avoid it. even into the speaking, you will have less fluency, you will have less confidence, you will not have idea. It is normal for everybody. And I would say the main thing as in common mistake is just to have a personal expectation before you know the game. So the mental thing is, I feel more like as in mistaken, as in mindset that we have. It is a main mistake for a person, because people will do, like they have a coaching of you guys and you are telling them to do it, they will do it. But in term of their personal growth, the mental part matters a lot. Because as I feel till TCF, if you are calm, you are composed, you have a trust on yourself, you will tackle everything because you have the language. And I would say make mistake in language. It is fine, very fine. I understood from the mistake. So maybe it is part of it, but yes, to have more personal expectations is the mistake that people make when they start journey of language. That okay, I would be fluent, I would do this, and they start to suddenly realize that okay, I maybe expected less, or maybe I expected more. Let's be in the real target. So then the things get worse because you do not have mindset at that time to focus on the language. So that thing links up to your performance of everyday life, and then you messed up with it. So your language get down, your confidence get down, and you are at the like at the line of just dropping off the course and just not doing it. So that's the maybe common mistake that I find.
I think that's always the case with expectations.
Yes. That's why I just made my computer wallpaper that do not expect more. Just to remind myself.
Good.
So yes, language
Yeah,
would be always like mistakes would be always there. If I write now, it would be always there. So you can't as a common mistake everybody do. Everybody has their own we can say strong areas and weak areas. And some more or less the like the problems that you listen from the students would be the same, that I'm not getting it. So the mindset and the expectations are more of the problem for everybody when they start the language. Because we have a background of having a nice English thing and we learn it, but people do not know that you learn till 12 year or 13 year or maybe 15 years. You are doing and you are being now fluent in English, so you can't expect that thing in a year of French.
exactly.
So that's the main mistake that okay, I will have four languages with me. I can speak, I can go anywhere, and I can survive or whatever the goal is. But that is very bad in term of language journey, because ups and down would be for sure there, and mistakes would be always a part of your journey.
Nice. Well, coming to the last portion of this call, tell me about your journey with La Forêt.
So for me, if you are saying as a positive person, I am a positive in term of La Forêt, because I never searched up anything. I got to know from my friend's friend, a friend who told me to learn French. So I asked him where to learn. So he gave me contact of one person who was studying with you with the La Forêt. So I never researched about it. It just came. I picked up because I needed to do it anyhow. And what I believe is whatever institution you choose, the majority of part would be self-study. Because I had my 12th and 11th like that. So it was natural to me that okay. So I opted. The the support of the people in term of technical like Saurabh was always there for in term of managing the classes timings and getting like for an example the process of getting into the classes, and it was smoother, and now it is also. Then the teachers, what I found, especially like not exaggerating again, you, Anjali ma'am, and Aarti ma'am, like whatever, like whoever my speaking to, I knew those people only. Aarti ma'am was there in my speaking. Anjali ma'am was there twice. You were always there. So I don't know about others, to be very honest. But as other people told me, like my three friends are like doing the things from you, and they have different teachers. So I get the call from them, and they guys are saying the same thing. So what I feel is the support of the faculty is always there. Like doesn't matter what the time is there. Even I bug you even at the night sometimes. So I know it is apologizing behavior, but it was so nice of you that you were there. Plus the resources that you guys are having for a person who is starting the journey is very effective in term of to learn it and understand it. It is not demotivating things that okay, that this is like you are not giving a sense of a student to having a sense of difficulty of the language at the beginner level, so he can be motivated and continue the journey. So for me, it was always a nice experience. I never had any problems just because people were nice. Resources, like the resources that I was getting was perfect for me. And if person is feeling the resources are not enough, then find by yourself at the end. That is the only thing that person can do. So, yes, for me it was overall 100% in terms of teaching. It was learning the language. It was the best experience. So I can be heartily thank you so much.
What role did your teachers at La Forêt play in your preparation?
It was like this is not a thing that I can explain just because what I feel is they were the one who gave me a motivation to be on the journey, because I told you I was not having an intention to even start the French. So it was never the case for me to continue as well. But when I get into, you were there always. Anjali ma'am and Aarti ma'am was coming into the classes during our speaking test, and they were giving their advices as well. So that that made me more getting into the French and being consistent, because what I feel is when somebody is making more efforts on you, it is your responsibility to be regular and give that result. It is like go parallel of it. So you made an effort on me basically, where I was not being able to start my journey. So what I feel is it is my moral responsibility to continue and keep faith on you that you will be more helpful for me in the future. So I can say that from not speaking to speaking fluently, that is the only part where I can say the significance of having a faculty as like you and others in terms of the French journey, because yes, it is a new language. It takes more time for a person to understand. But having a teachers specifically who have a dedication for the students, and the LAFOR has that, so I feel it was the great, like it was the biggest part in my journey. It was self study is always there. You're gonna practice because you have a need of it at the end of the day. ठीक है. लेकिन having a faculty is much more motivation thing to do it for me, as like for me particularly. People have different mindsets, but it was very effective for me.
Nice. Thank you so much. Anything that you still want to add that you have not talked about it yet?
There's nothing as such, but just do hustle. That's all. You will get it. You will get it one day for sure. Maybe things will be wrong right now. People are seeing it. They might be facing problems in reading like me. will be okay. So my quote was always there. It's okay to be not okay.
Yeah,
So it made me okay, it's fine. But overwhelming and anxiety is my second trait, so it is always there. So nothing as such special to say, but yeah, best of luck for the students who are appearing next time. You will get it for sure.
for sure.
Like people say, I can't do it, you can do it. No, all people can do it. It's just matter of time and patience.
Mm,
So it's fine for everybody.
nice.
And thank you for interviewing me. It was my dream, which came true.
I know, you told me.
I told you I will give one day interview
Yes,
when I will
yes.
finish my exam. So it is always there, and it was always like in my 3 years in Canada, it would be the major highlight of my journey. Not even finishing my diploma, not even getting my job. Yes.
Well, I'd like to say congratulations. Wait, congratulations.
Thank you so much, man.
Yeah.